We've got some some interesting UFL stuff. Ed attended the St. Louis fans. What was it? A pep
Fan
rally?
rally.
Fan
Fan
rally. We've got KJ was in Houston and Louisville.
He wasn't in Louisville, but we've got a few things to share about Louisville.
Got a few things to share about Louisville and some other UFL news from Brett. And I mean, I guess we got a big game coming up this weekend. I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to get this thing kicked off.
It's the Bottom Line Show, and it starts now.
And that's the bottom line. You want a war? You're going to get one.
The cream rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
So thinking about this, when Brett does his little information, how's the finger? Did you get it all done?
Barely. I'm glad you started talking right away.
I love looking at you in the backstage, and all I see is your head down like this.
Oh, yeah, I'm flipping up. So one thing goes wrong, I'm in trouble.
So I feel like we bring Brett on here. He's got a little history lesson, or kind of a history lesson anyway, right?
He does.
I mean, so let's bring Brett on. Good evening, Brett.
Brett
What's up, fellas?
was all sentimental today. Had a little tear in his eye talking about the big 25th, so we better let him explain.
Man, yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the start of XFL 1.0. That's the official football they played with. This is kind of what got a lot of us, I wouldn't say younger because I'm not younger, a lot of us guys addicted to spring football and started following it. A lot of us old heads, I guess. And then, there was a league called the USFL in 1983 that got a lot of people addicted, and they just fell in love with spring football. It's just something different. Alt football, however you want to word it. And here we are 25 years later with season 3 of the UFL. New ownership, some new teams. I'm excited, but again, if you're a fan, you had to remember the original XFL from 2001. Jim McMahon, Las Vegas Outlaws, he hate me, I hate he. the Hitman, the Maniacs, the Birmingham Bolts, the San Francisco Demons, just on and on and on. It set a standard modern day spring football with attendances. You look at what some of those games averaged. It was pretty impressive. It was different times, definitely different times. But I really think without XFL 1.0, I don't know if we'd be here today still following spring football. We've got a big-time league going. They seem to be trending in the right direction. Had some fan rallies this week. But some of the rules, the innovative rules that the XFL came up with and spring footballs came up with, from the kickoffs to the sky cam, to what was it called when they would run, as opposed to a coin toss, they would have two of the fastest players run in like 10 yards sprints and try to get the football. And whoever got that football won the coin toss. Unfortunately, it resulted in some injuries back then. But
there was some major collisions at the ball when they did.
Yeah. It was a little crazy and a little much, which is what got a lot of the reviews from the mainstream people. Is, it was wild, it was crazy, it was innovative, but it was just it was too much.
It was Vince McMahon, for crying out loud. What was their expectation?
But we all have to give McMahon a little bit of credit. XFL 2.0 in 2020. I tell you what, it set the standard. It got Fox Sports involved in spring football, and then when COVID hit and everything shut down, you literally had a cult-like following, and man, I'm gonna tell you, the Seattle Dragons, Los Angeles Wildcats, just on, and that's when Fox decided to make a run at spring football. They bidded on the league, and it was eventually awarded to Danny and Dwayne Johnson, or Danny Garcia and Dwayne Johnson in Redbird Capital. So then the following season, Fox Sports did the Spring League, which was nothing more than a trial run for bringing back the USFL. Then the USFL and XFL went head-to-head for one season, and now here we are in year 3 of the UFL, and this all kind of stems, in my opinion, from XFL 1.0. So again, and this ball, I will sign it myself, since I call myself a super fan. I don't know if I am or not. And we will put starting bids for the bottom line at $4,995 for this beautiful spring football. Proceeds going to Brett and Cat Daddy Inc.
Yeah. So we got this picture, Brett. Do a little explaining as I put this picture up.
Oh my goodness! What you had? Chicago Hitmen, the Orlando Rage, the Birmingham Bolts, the Memphis Maniacs, Las Vegas Outlaws, which was the original game where McMahon and then Dwayne Johnson was out there on the field before the game. It was crazy. Stadium was packed. What other teams did we have in there, guys? I've lost count. Some unique teams that, if they would ever, I don't know who's got the licenses for these teams, if they ever were to go back to said cities and they brought these teams back, I mean, it would come unhinged on X and Facebook. From the Rage, the Maniacs, the Demons, the Outlaws, like I said, the Chicago Hitmen, which was them, and Birmingham was probably the 2 worst teams in the league, which of course that resulted in some pretty bad attendance, especially in Chicago when it was 30 degrees when they started playing right after the Super Bowl. So yeah, man, that's the good old days right there. I can't believe it's been 25 years, but here we are now. And are we going to talk expansion, or do we got that in our repertoire, considering the post that Mike Rapoli made last night that I sent to Ed earlier?
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, in his post last night, he said, don't count the UFL out. Basically let's go. And where would the fans like to see the 2 expansion teams in 2028? Of course, I did a little bit of research like I always do. I am as high as a cat's back on Oklahoma City, Tulsa. Very, very similar to Louisville, which we'll get into Louisville in a little bit. But it's a great sports town. They're hungry, hungry, hungry for professional football. And they do support their teams in Oklahoma, professional and college. And they've got a new soccer stadium coming. I didn't get any details on that, but it could possibly be in the mix for 2028. And with this recent fan rally in Louisville, I think Mike Rapoli would be – it would be a mistake to not look serious at Oklahoma City and Tulsa in 2028. And then, of course, if the stadium in Detroit gets built for the soccer team there, I would love to see the Michigan Panthers come back. Don't know, there's rumors that they might try to go West Coast and try to get some folks out there more involved, with the bigger media market, Los Angeles, San Diego. San Diego's similar to St. Louis. Their NFL team was full form, same thing with Oakland. But the venues, he's looking for the smaller soccer-style venues, which Oakland is bidding on right now, trying to be, but that probably won't transpire and come to fruition until 2030. So, again, Oklahoma City and Detroit is where I'm at for expansion for 2028.
I think Oklahoma somewhere makes complete sense. And Michigan was on the rise, if you will.
Right.
Ford Field just did not make any sense. So going back there definitely would be, I think, a good idea in a smaller venue and less expensive.
And again, it would be an instant rivalry with Columbus, the Aviators. So supposedly when all this started a few months ago, when Mike took over, he mentioned that he has reached out to the people that's involved with the construction of that stadium, and it's a strong possibility. But again, Ford Field was just so high, and it didn't make sense to have a 60-something thousand seat stadium with 10, 12, 14, 15,000 people in the stands, and then the exorbitant amount that they were charging for the rent. And then, all these stadiums, all these facilities now have social media pages, Instagram, X, Facebook, on and on and on. And they're always advertising said events. Hey, this is scheduled for the 8th. This is scheduled for March 15th. And they refuse to even advertise for the Michigan Panthers. So I understand that a lot of Michigan fans are still angry, towards Mike Rapoli in the league. But that was really shitty on the part of Ford Field and their ownership to literally take our money and then say, well, no, we're not going to help out. No, we're going to make fun of you. No, we're not going to advertise on our marquee. We're not going to even mention it on our social media pages. All it would take was 15, 20 minutes, and you're taking, $500,000 a game from the league? I think the league did what they had to do, unfortunately, with the Michigan market. But moving forward, if this works and the soccer stadium is constructed in time, I would be floored if the Panthers are not back in Detroit.
What do you think, Eric, about Omaha?
I think if you can't make it go, in some of those bigger markets, you come to a market. I can tell you this: the Sioux City Bandits. Okay, Ed's very familiar with the Sioux City Bandits, an Arena Football League team. They fill the stands every single game, and they probably have a higher attendance than 2 or 3 of the UFL teams last year. And so, when you look at some of these cities, call them secondary cities, Omaha, I would say Omaha before a Sioux City, but, Omaha definitely makes sense. I would have no doubt that would go, because Omaha and cities like Omaha would embrace that team more than a or just as much as Chicago embraces the Bears, or Minnesota, Minneapolis embraces the Vikings, whatever it is, they would embrace it. And I think to a certain degree, their focus has maybe initially been on a little too big of cities. I think if you had a 40,000, 30,000 seat, operation in Omaha, you'd pack it.
Yeah, 15 or 20,000 even. And one more thing, and I'm sure KJ's probably more familiar with this than I am, but I do know for a fact that in the Arena Football League, which I do not follow Arena Football, shoot me, I'm just, it's not my thing. Tulsa leads that league in attendance by far. Yep. And I can't remember the name of the team, but they're pulling who is it?
The Oilers.
They're pulling 15, 16, 17,000 and packing that place out. And if they are getting a soccer facility or upgraded soccer facility in the Tulsa, Oklahoma City area, I think it would be a home run. Very similar to me to Louisville. And then if you notice, I think there's less than 1,000 seats available for the season opener with Birmingham versus Louisville, which is, even though it's only a 15,000 seat stadium, that's very exciting. Very exciting. That's going to be that might be the diamond in the rough on these expansion teams. I think Columbus will do well because Columbus and Ohio is football, but they don't have NFL. They've got the big college teams. They don't have NFL, and I think they're doing pretty well with tickets. Got to up the ante a little bit with. I think Orlando and Houston in the bigger cities, it can and will absolutely work, but it can get a little bit lost in the mix because there's always so much going on in those cities. From monster truck rallies, concerts, basketball, baseball, just
There's power in your marketing no matter where you're at, Brett. But to your point, the ROI is a lot faster, or you'd say a bigger ROI in your smaller towns because you don't have that vast competitiveness across the economy or the market.
I've been to a St. Louis Battlehawks game where you've got a Battlehawks game, a Cardinals game, a concert, and a soccer game all in the almost the same times.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and thankfully they've got a larger population, but that does hurt. It does hurt. I'm a redneck from Alabama, and somebody brought it to my attention. I love the band Alabama from up in Fort Payne. And guess what? The Dallas Renegades come to Birmingham, I think it's May 9th, 7 o'clock. The new Coca-Cola amphitheater is just on the other side of the mountain in Birmingham, 10,000 seat stadium. And guess who's playing at the same time? Alabama. And most of this will be the last chance for anyone to probably ever see them play live again. So that's something, you can't avoid those things. Like I was telling Birmingham people with all these excuses, hell, every city's got different, concerts. We got the BJCC Legacy Arena right next door we share parking to. And they'll have a big concert with 15,000 there right in the middle of a Stallions game. And that's something you got to keep in mind moving forward for, places like Louisville and Columbus. And I think that's why Omaha would be a great fit if they have the correct facility. I'm extremely high on Oakland, Portland, but those are West Coast, and I don't know when they're ever going to be ready to venture out.
But I think the biggest part to that is, Brett, if you move a team to Oakland, they're just one of many things going on. Right. Or a big city like Portland. You move a team to, and I'm not just saying that, Ed brought Omaha, but you move a team to Omaha, and you have the possibility to be the thing to do on Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday, whenever the game is planned. I mean,
yeah, I've done my research on Omaha and the growing population. It's a good area. It's a good city. It's not a dying city like Memphis and some of the other cities that we've seen has failed recently in spring football. I'm absolutely all for Omaha. the more research I did, I think there's a facility issue there. I think the only thing that was doable might have been Creighton University, and where the World Series is played is just it's not a football facility. You've got to, they're very particular in Omaha about their. I just don't see that them ever letting football in
Never.
spring
No,
in Omaha.
because the College World Series would be toward the end of the season, so
Right.
it wouldn't be in that field, for example.
Right.
You wouldn't use that facility.
Right.
But the College World Series is, what is it, about over a 2-week span or whatever it is.
Right.
And the way that the College World Series is packed, I mean, if you've got a UFL team, I mean, they would pack the seats. They just would pack the seats.
Well, that's why I'm very strong on Portland. They don't have professional football there. They've got the Blazers, which, bless their heart, they still support them. Then they've got the soccer team, and they've got a perfect what was their name? It was Portland Lumberjacks or something. I've done the research on the facility. Originally, he had no intention once he expanded and renovated the facility to allow football on his field. Now the big high school playoffs are always allowed on said field. I think Portland would be a home run, especially if you was to ever bring Seattle back. That would be an instant rivalry. But again, with Rapoli now in the mix, you're not hearing Seattle anymore because where they had that lease was at Lumen Field, which seats, 70,000 people.
Right.
So I don't know if Seattle will ever be back now, and I really hate it because I thought the Seattle Dragons franchise was well branded.
For sure. Well, Brett, you and I are going to take a short hiatus because Ed and KJ have the fan rallies to talk about. And if we don't get to them, it's going to be 10:30, and all we have to talk about is the UFL and the Super Bowl. So let's let them get started, and we'll just watch. How's that sound? Go ahead, boys.
So KJ, we want to be able to represent all the fan bases in the league, and
For sure.
so we're reaching out to all the fan bases out there, and whether it's Columbus, Louisville, DC, Orlando, doesn't matter. Help us get the information out to everyone so that we can just keep the excitement going for the upcoming season. So there's 3 fan rallies we're going to cover tonight. We'll start off with Louisville because there was a lot of good news, a lot of good vibes coming out of Louisville after their fan rally on, I believe it was Saturday. So all we've got we don't have any pictures for Louisville, but we do have a couple reels that we want to play for everybody. So why don't you go ahead and share that first reel if you would, KJ?
Yeah, I'm going to roll through it here. Give me 1 second. Pull up our page here. You may have to pull it to the main screen, Ed. I think it's in the backstage right now. There you go. Let me restart from the beginning. This is the entry into and then out like that. Then they also had a little clip from the coach put off there as well.
And I think we got the right guys to do some great things.
Undefeated season.
Kentucky always got playmakers. Bring some good football back to Kentucky.
It doesn't matter if you're red, blue, we're green now. So this city is turning green real fast, and that's what I love to see.
those are the two reels we had from the event. They had a pretty good turnout in Louisville, I'd say. Obviously, it's exciting to see the big level of attendance they had at the fan rally event. I think that speaks to, and we already touched on, Brett did, about their opening day ticket sales kind of being almost to a sold out capacity already, which is pretty dang cool since we're still, just under 2 months away from kickoff, basically.
Yeah, that's like they were saying their home opener is already nearing a sellout from what I hear. And so that's awesome news. That's going to be a good look for the league, that's for sure.
No doubt.
So Louisville fans who watch the show, if you would start sharing, if you have any photographs, anything that you want to see on our show, send them to me, and I'll make sure I get them on for you. Like I said, we want all the fan bases represented on the show. So,
for sure, it's most important, I'd say, public service announcement, if you will, to all the fan bases too, which I know plenty of us super fans already do this. But for those of you who are new to the league, if you know anything about YouTube, Facebook, all the social media platforms, the algorithms are where prominence in marketing is made. So obviously the league pays for ads and things of that nature. But the more we as fans share pictures, share posts, share these reels from the very team pages themselves, the further the word gets out there for the brand awareness and overall existence awareness of your respective team. So share as much as you can, because it will help the team in the long run grow with support and following.
So with the next fan rally was on Saturday as well. The Houston fan rally was Saturday, and the first pictures I'm going to show is they had the fan rally at the stadium itself, correct, AJ? So
correct. I believe Louisville's was that way also. That was one point I was going to touch on that I really liked. I don't know if St. Louis was able to do that, obviously, because they have such a bigger fan crowd. But the kind of combo element they used, I don't know if Louisville did the exact same setup that Houston did, but I believe the space that the Gamblers chose to do their fan rally event was basically the elite suite or home side of the stadium. And so it allowed you to basically look directly out onto the field. They even had the doors unlocked so that fans could literally walk out of the concourse, walk around the stadium, and go check out their seats if they ended up there that day or even prior had bought season tickets for the team, which I think was pretty cool. So
let's take a look at there's some pictures here of the stadium. And
they had a weather cover on the field at the time that I was out there on that Saturday, but it was still a really good turnout.
But it's just cool. I mean, it's the
it's much more immersive that way.
Here's a on midfield look, and then of course here's the other end zone. But it's like you take the Battle Dome and you take half of it off, and you just have the lower bowl.
Right.
And the look of what this stadium will have when the Houston fan base packs it in, it's going to have a pretty good look to it.
For sure. It'll be exciting.
So let's go into some of the pictures of the event. And I will put the pictures up and let KJ comment as well, because he knows a lot of these people and a lot of these fans, and he can talk about the players and the coaches that are in the pictures as well. Here's the first picture.
Yeah, so here we have Mr. and Mrs. Predator. I'd say two of our most premier super fans for the team that have followed since the early Roughnecks previous branding. And they're standing there with Coach Sumlin, the head coach for the team. He's also very much a Houston native, obviously, coaching both the Aggies in previous seasons and the Houston Cougars. So there's a lot of history with him as a coach in the local area, if you will, not just with the Gamblers.
And here's him signing autographs at the event.
Yeah, they rotated actually in several players beyond John Trey. I believe Kirkland was there, but they had a couple other players that took turns coming both to the table to sign autographs, and then I think a couple of them actually even walked around and greeted fans at some of the other tables, theme tables that they had. Beyond the autograph component, they obviously, I know Ed will keep scrolling through the photos, and you'll see some later, but That's Joker Wild, one of the other super fans.
Now you'll notice Joker. I mean, the look on the coach's face, almost like he's seeing Joker's Wild for the first time, and he's like, "What the hell is that?" But if you see Joker's Wild, I don't know. Am I giving too much away, KJ, if I say who the formerly was? Or
no, he's already revealed that. If you follow his page and have seen some of his past videos,
the Joker's Wild, formerly, well, they called him Rig Rockers, but I always called him Big Rig. So all I know is that outfit. It's pretty cool, but I can't imagine what it's gonna feel like in June. But that's just me. So here's the Predator couple again with a couple of the players. KJ, you said Jonte Kirkland was one of them?
Yeah, I forget the other 3 or 4 that were in attendance. I don't remember exactly if it was just total of 4 guys or if there was more. I was kind of moving around the space, obviously taking pictures and videos of the different tables they had. But this was kind of directly across from the main bar area where they were serving drinks. Cool thing, I think, with the setup, I'm assuming this was fairly standardized from the reels I saw for Louisville that we just showed earlier. I think they had some of the same theme tables at each event. Obviously, I had the autograph table for the coach and players. At Houston's event, they served complimentary beverages, cookies, and they had a small food bar as well, which was really cool. And I think they served additional food and alcoholic drinks for those who wanted to purchase them. So there was an incentive factor there for fans attending and participating. And then in addition to the autograph table, they had obviously one for the ticketing sales folks to further advertise and try to get in more season ticket commits. They had a little souvenir table where you could get, corresponding swag. I got a couple towels and a really cool beanie from that spinner wheel they had on that table. And then additionally, they had a station for both a photo booth and then a second one that was more media focused on helping the fans create personalized advertisement clips that they could potentially use in either the game day experience or I think possibly in future ads. They also had a media personnel with, I think, one of their lead marketing ladies, I didn't catch her name, walking around getting personal direct videos of the fans. I know Mr. and Mrs. Predator, they did a clip for them as well that I was nearby when I saw it take place. And then in additional to those, they did a face painting station for the kiddos and I think 1 or 2 others that I'm lapsing on at the moment. But it was a really good turnout. Houston had probably, I would say, somewhere between 200 and 400 people, I think, in attendance, and I may be undercutting that a little bit, but it wasn't a huge space, obviously, so we would have been capped, I think, at some numerical value, no matter what it was. But it was a good turnout, definitely good for the event. So,
KJ representing, and I will say that I've got a pretty exciting sports memorabilia that I'm going to be able to have as part of my backdrop. From I won't say who until I have the big unveiling of it. But there's the Joker's Wild again. I think it's Joker's Wild significant other was with him, correct? And then you had the Predator couple there again. I don't know. Are they the Predator couple still, or are they the?
They are, yeah. When you look them up on Facebook, that is their specific profile name. Is the Predator couple. I just go by Mr. and Mrs. Predator because they usually have that acronym a lot as well.
And then
you see their picture across from Joker Wild is I'm having a brain fart. Captain Rough Rider, who previously supported the Brahmas in San Antonio, but he had been to some of our Houston games as well in seasons past. Especially even the year we were at Rice way back. But he made the choice to kind of continue to support the league through the Houston squad, rebranded some of his Superfan gear there, as you can see. And I think that belt he had actually custom made for this season. So the cool centerpiece you see there's actually a spinner wheel meant to reflect like a roulette or whatever you call it, crab's wheel, whatever it is in normal casinos. So. That's the face staining patient I previously mentioned, and then right to the left there where the gentleman in blue is at, as you can see, is kind of edge of the station they had for the media clipping for super fans to go in and get videos made, basically.
So that was Houston. Any parting shots, KJ?
No, I think I'm excited to see how our turnout is reflective to like kind of kickoff weekend, respective to the attendance and engagement we had at the fan event. One big note, and Mr. Predator, thanks to him for asking this question when they were doing the direct interview with Coach Sumlin and Russ Brandon, who was also in attendance at the event, when they sat down to do a kind of direct interview in front of the fans. One of the questions that was asked was on, what their intent was for marketing, because we've seen little grassroots level movements being done by fan bases like the Stallions with the fans on the roadside. If you've seen any of the reels they shared where they were kind of holding up poster boards advertising the kickoff and getting tickets. We haven't seen a lot of that necessarily from all the other fans to the same extent. And Russ was very intentional, at least in his response to the question, to say that they do have plans to continue to ramp up and roll out very much locally focused marketing in the coming weeks prior to kickoff. So I'm interested to see he didn't get necessarily specific with his answer, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and assume that he means what he said. And I'm excited to see kind of what they bring to fruition. If it's the same sort of fan direct on the ground engagement that they did in Birmingham, or if they'll do something similar with, throwing up a billboard somewhere in Houston, whatever it may be, doing the news channel appearances. I know they've done that in seasons past. So hopefully they'll get really heavily in the local engagement, and that'll just further boost both the awareness and the interest for the team prior to week one. So
in St. Louis, we had our fan rally on Sunday. And to say that it was a packed house was an understatement. Here is a shot of this is about 20 minutes before the event started. The Westport Social was kind of split into two halves. The front half was more seating for eating and gaming type of stuff, and this is the actual backside where they held the event. But as you can see on the right side there, the line's already forming for the autographs, even though they hadn't started the event. Here's another shot of the back end. I want to say, if it all depends on who you talk to, but it was estimated at anywhere from 800 to 1,500 fans there, depending on who you talk to. Of course, you're not talking about all the comers and the goers, because the line was still outside almost an hour into the event. So I'm sure that there were some people leaving by then too. But it was a pretty steady inflow of fans coming in. So I was there. I took pictures of quite a few of the fan groups that were there. I'll just kind of go through some of the pictures. Bear with me. There's a lot of pictures. It was funny. The guy standing to my right in the sweatshirt with the Battlehawks logo on the front, he knew I was old. So every time we got done with these shots, he had to help me up. So he was always laughing, and he'd always come around the front because he knew he was going to have to help me stand up. So here is another fan group. This is the big, this group here is a lot of the tailgating group that we have in the church lot across from the dome. You got the Beard in the middle. You got Jennifer Brown off to the right. You got Rick Stories in there. Mike Vogel. You got the cigar guys in there, of course. Let's see what else we got here. Here's the staircase where the players are coming down to be introduced. You've got, I always get his last name mixed up, but it's Kavan Latolis. And then you, of course, got Travis Feeney. There's I think his name is Corey Chamblin. He was a special team specialist for Birmingham, actually. So he's with us now. PETA is up there, and then our quarterback, one of our quarterbacks, Ben Woolridge, those were the 5 players that were there. This first picture is PETA. He was the defensive player of the year last year in the league. That's another picture of him. You got Kayvon. He's the running back. He was actually the 3rd running back last year, but Jacob Sailors is still with Detroit. So he's going to be playing a lot more prominent roles of running back. He has actually went into bodybuilding during the off season. So bodybuilding is a whole different animal when it comes to flexibility and that kind of thing. So, I'm sure he's got the best of the best working with him, but the guy is definitely built like a brick shithouse. There's no doubt about that. Here is Travis Feeney. Travis was a very popular guy, man. He was on the run. He was everywhere. Everybody wants an autograph from Travis. This is Ben Woolridge. He's one of the quarterbacks. I think he's out of Tulane, if I remember right. But he is going to be the one competing with Brandon Silvers for the starting job at quarterback. He is a very tall guy. So as you can see there, he towers above everybody else. So never hurts to have a tall quarterback, that's for sure. And then you talk about hospitality. When you first come in, they had a table and they had to spin the wheel, and you could get sunglasses, rally towel, T-shirts, you name it. But these two, boy, they played the part. They were about as inviting as you could get, and it made everybody feel welcome. So I had to make sure I had showed a picture of them. And then, of course, I had to give Mama Bear a little play here. She's had a picture with our mascot. And I got to tell you, our mascot's pretty talented because he was running the DJ booth there for a while, and he had the place rocking. And if I had that video, I'd show you he was definitely playing the part. That's Wayne the cigar guy in there with Mama Bear and I. Another picture of the mascot. And I would be remiss if I didn't show a picture of Evan. He's the little dude that tailgates right next to us in the church lot. And look forward to seeing him every time. That's his mom off to the side there. She made leis for all of the players. So all those blue and white leis. In fact, there's one right back here on my backdrop that I got my hands on. PETA actually presented it to me. He knew I had kind of a difficult year, so he let me have it, which was much appreciated. Then here's another picture of Evan with his dad, Eric, and then Mike Vogel off to the right. He was responsible last year he went to all the out-of-town fan games, and he worked with the tickets and all the different teams to get blocks saved so that the Battlehawk fans could sit together wherever we went to. And I think I talked to him on Sunday, and he was right at almost 70 tickets already for the Louisville game, the end of April. So he does a great job in gathering support, and the other venues are always more than willing to work with him, so he does a great job. And then here is the mother of all tailgaters, or I should say the legend of all tailgaters from the church lot, Rick Story and his wife. Couldn't be a nicer guy. And he's already making big plans for this year. Then we've got the proclaimed Excalibur, who should actually be the official mascot of the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Agreed.
It's definitely a slight on their part, but to his credit, he remains a big part of the St. Louis Battlehawk fan base, and the kids just love him. And so he no more than got in the venue on Sunday, and he was signing autographs for the kids. So then we got the beard in the middle. He's going to be a proud grandpa coming up, he told me. And I'm trying to think this guy, the last name is McCullis, I think, something like that. Then we have Wayne the Cigar Guy. We've got this is an ad I wanted to show Brett and KJ. So in case they, want to purchase one of these bad boys, all I can say is I wouldn't want to be the people sitting behind this guy at the ball game. But
no doubt.
And then Jennifer Brown and Angel, they are super fans of the Battlehawks. That's pretty much it. I had a bunch of videos that I wanted to play to give you an idea of how long the lines were. I know the autograph line, they had a barrier set up in front of the stage where it just zigzagged back and forth, but then it went the full length of the bar, and it went out the front eating area, out the front door, and into the parking lot. They lined up for the people that were getting autographed. So anyway, that's about it. But if you talk about excitement building for the season, I think if the fan rallies are any indication, I think that the excitement is definitely out there. Let's bring the guys back in. I better do it.
Yeah, shout out Cordero. He shared that we had Mason and Fisher were two of the other guys from Houston. I forgot the names, but I appreciate you updating us on that, man.
So the last thing we'll do to wrap up the UFL segment is there's something that's near and dear to my heart that we're trying to get accomplished. I think that they've had better cooperation with the rest of the league on this, but as everybody knows, autism has become more and more prevalent in the United States, and kids with autism really have an issue with sensory overload, and that can be from being around a lot of people. It can be from loud noises. So needless to say, my grandson Blake wasn't able to attend Sunday as much as Amanda and Blake would have loved to have been there. It just wasn't going to be possible. So what we're trying to do between my daughter and I and Blake is we're trying to, I wouldn't say necessarily put pressure on the Battle Dome to get an autism safe space sensory room, but if nothing else, just make them aware, hoping that it's something that they can put in place. They still got a couple months before the season starts. So I'm going to play. My daughter made a video that I posted this morning for to many of the Facebook pages, and I wanted to play that, and then I'll follow that by playing the video that I made. Just nothing more but to bring awareness. So this was the first one that I posted.
Hey UFL Nation, my name is Amanda Ployer and this is my son, Blake. We're here to tell all of you about the importance of having sensory rooms in these UFL stadiums. Yes?
Yes.
Would you like to go to a football game?
Yeah.
Yes, he would. And in order for him to be able to do those things, a sensory room would be extremely important to help him with sensory overload. So, with all of your help and with all of your support, we are asking for you to share this video. Yes?
Yes.
they can share. Say, share this video.
Share this video.
That's right. If you can share this video to get all the awareness out there on how important it is to have an autism sensory room in each UFL stadium, that would be great. And I'm here in St. Louis. Yes?
Yes.
Are we Battlehawk fans?
Yes.
We are. We're Battlehawk fans. And for instance, St. Louis is the only team in this area. St. Louis Battlehawks are the only team in this area without a sensory room. Yes, sir. So let's all come together, all of us fans come together, share this post, get the awareness out there for all the children that need it most and adults that need it most, so that they all can have the same voice that you and I have.
Yes, yes.
And they can enjoy that experience too. So please, everyone, share, 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 share.
He's a cool dude, and he has come such a long way. When I think he was diagnosed when he was 1.5, and it took a while, and it took a lot of convincing too on Mama Bear and I's part to agree. I mean, Amanda knew that there was an issue, but Blake has made great strides since then. And I just wanted to play the video that I made as well. But one thing I found when I listened to my video, I don't have near the energy that she has, so it must be an age thing. But here was my video. Hi, my name's Ed Ployer. I am a grandparent of 6 awesome grandkids. The second oldest boy is Blake, daughter of Amanda. Football's always played a very important role in our family, and that includes Amanda. We've been season ticket holders with the Battlehawks since inception in 2020. Blake was diagnosed with autism early on. Very special kid. All kids with autism are special kids. You just have to learn how to live life a little differently with them. Amanda has been pretty consistent of always wanting to be at every Battlehawk home game, but she's always had that apprehension because of, Blake can have sensory of loud noise. So she's always been apprehensive of bringing him to the games. What a safe space sensory room would do for kids with autism, and not only parents, it would give them the opportunity to at least give it a try. Let them live life like normal kids. And if it doesn't work out, well, then there's a place they can go. But at least you can have the confidence of taking the kids to the games and just seeing how it goes. And if it doesn't go the way you'd like it, then you have an alternative. But a safe space sensory room for autistic kids would be good for the league. It would be great for the fans, and it would be awesome, totally awesome for grandkids, especially Blake, for us. But kids throughout the league, I think it's something that we need at the Battle Dome, and I think it's something that the UFL needs to embrace league-wide. I'm really hopeful that it's something that we can get put in place, and we as a total family can go enjoy the Battlehawks in the 2026 season. Now let's bring everybody back. So, will it happen? Who knows? But we're going to give it a shot. See if it's going to be possible. I know that they had an autism event at the home game against DC Defenders last year. They still went ahead with that event, had some kids on the field before the game, but it didn't quite turn out to be the event that they had hoped it was going to as far as what they were going to provide for the autistic children. So myself and Amanda and Blake will just keep pushing, see what we can do about getting a sensory room put in at the Dome. But one thing's for sure, I'm never going to get hired as the doing commercials for W Energy, am I?
No. You can't look so terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, So anyway, she sent me a few takes yesterday, and each one of them was like, damn, they're all better than mine was on the first, But anyway, so what else do we have for the UFL? Is that it, or is that going to be? Does that pretty much wrap it up?
So let me ask. So is everybody excited for their events this weekend? Did they all go pretty well?
Yes.
I think they all went very well. What you said tomorrow, Brett? Orlando has their fan rally.
You're muted.
Brett, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, Orlando's tomorrow. Dallas, I think, is this weekend. In the KJ, DC. Birmingham was rescheduled for weather, just like DC. Birmingham's got an event Friday at a little restaurant on 280 in Mountain Brook. Meet the players. AJ's going to be there, and then our official event is Saturday. So yeah, big weekend for the rest of the league.
I'm excited.
And Coach Prohl of the Battlehawks got snowed in North Carolina on Sunday, so he wasn't able to make it to the event. So Coach Beck, former coach of the Battlehawks, had to kind of put in a little jab saying that he would for sure be at his fan rally tomorrow night. So, but anyway, thanks for joining Excalibur. You missed my plug for you. I had you the unofficial official mascot of the St. Louis Battlehawks.
I don't know how he does it, man. I've met Excalibur in person a couple times, and whew, stuff has to be hot, and it's not light.
I would be so phobic, man, because when he puts the Excalibur head on,
yeah,
he has to like be running into a wall or something to wedge that thing on his head. Because I would be so phobic in that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean he don't walk around like that all the time?
It's funny. The people that know Excalibur the best know who he is personally outside of the character. So Sunday, he went into the Westport Social Bar, didn't have nothing on. It was just him. And he walked around and we talked and nobody gave him a second look or whatever. He totally incognito, man. But then he comes in a half hour later in full costume and the kids flock. So it's pretty cool. So Eric, why don't you take us to a Wild Sun commercial break, and when we come back, we will get going on. There is a kind of a semi-important game coming up on Sunday, so we better talk about it.
All right, we'll be back. Oh, Brett. Some people's kids. So apparently we have a I don't know, a big game coming up on Sunday?
Really?
Chad, what would that big game be?
I'm not quite sure. What could it be?
Let's go with, if I can find it here with everything
Plus,
we
it's
have.
just a game they play on before and after watching Bad Bunny.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm sure there's Bad Bunny fans out there. I'm not one of the music, but that's fine. To each their own. But we have Super Bowl 60.
60.
60.
60.
Just think, Ed. Just think. You've been alive for how many years? You 63?
No, I've been alive for 61.
61 of them. So you've been alive for every Super Bowl, even though you don't remember the early ones.
I remember the ones that were important when the Vikings started getting in them.
Yeah, but I mean, one of these days, your team, I have a good feeling, your team is going to have that Lombardi trophy in their hands, and you're going to cry like a baby, like I did when the Cubs won the World Series. You're not going to be able to keep it together.
Oh, I would just be a mess. It would
I
be
don't know
like,
why you got to do that to him, Eric. That's just not
it'd
cool.
be like 6 decades just
pouring out,
coming to the forefront.
Yeah, but here's the deal. See,
that's just mean.
Even more so than the Vikings. See, when I collapsed, I can tell you exactly where I was at. When I collapsed on my floor up in the attic watching it with the boys, they looked at me like there was something wrong with me. And I'm like, you have no idea what this means to a lifelong Cub fan. My grandfather was a lifelong Cub fan, and he never got to see this. And he was almost 77 years old when he passed away. And he never got to see it. It was like every Cubs fan I've seen the play after play after play, like it was for somebody, a grandpa or a grandma or a mom or a dad that had passed away. I mean, you Viking fans, that's like, Dad's a huge Viking fan. Like, I would be happy for you guys if you could get one after the Bears get 2 or 3 more. But
4 or 5.
I wish I was as optimistic as you, Eric. But
well, I'm not optimistic. I hope for you. I hope for my dad. I don't want him to go through, and 85 years old and be like, I've never seen my Vikings win a Super Bowl.
It's probably a little bit more desperate for him than it is for me. I hope to think that I've got a little bit more longer than your dad does, but
wow.
Of course, as old as Eric is.
I mean,
as old as Eric is, his dad's got to already be in his 80s, doesn't he?
Yeah. Dad's still in the same decade as you, so he hasn't quite turned
that's weird. I mean, you're almost 57 or 58.
Yeah. Listen, we know I'm not.
So. I get KJ back on here.
Yeah, well, KJ doesn't know his ass from his elbow when it comes to that. So that's just plain fact of the matter. But yeah, he turned 70, so he's still in the same decade as you right now. So I don't know. I've seen every one of my teams win at least once. Seen the Bears win at least once. Cubs win at least once. The Bulls win multiple times. I hope for you, Ed. But you're a Yankees fan, so
I'm the same way, Eric. Thinking about that, the Bears, the Lakers, Bama, but there's some tough lean times in between. But hell, I was 5 years old when the Bears won. I mean, does that even count? We've got to.
Marty chimes in, Ed. That's funny, Eric. Don't give Ed false hopes.
That's what I'm saying. But, Ed, do you remember the Joe Cap Super Bowl?
No, that was the very first one. I didn't come on board until the Miami Dolphin game. Larry Zonka and the perfect season,
Yeah, they ran all over you.
Yeah. Well, that's because the Vikings, I find out, between the NFC Championship and the Super Bowls, they never practice. So I guess you reap what you sow.
Yeah, you got to blame the coach on that one. It's
Yeah,
all the
I
coach,
guess.
man. All right,
That's incredible.
Let's dive a little bit into the Super Bowl and let's get some of your takes, as right or wrong as they may be. You're going into the Super Bowl, okay? And you've got your choice of one quarterback or the other. And these are your quarterbacks. By default, I'm going to start with Ed. Ed, you're going into the Super Bowl. You've got these two quarterbacks. I know it's mean. I didn't intentionally mean it to be mean, but it's kind of
yeah. Okay.
But
that's why you called on Ed first, because you didn't want to be mean.
It dawned on me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is bad, Fred. May or Darnold, you're going into the Super Bowl. Who you got?
I am going with
Derek May. Oh.
Sam Caesar frickin' Darnold.
You are actually going with Darnold?
I am going with Darnold.
Wow.
He's still got a little purple blood in him. Like I said, I'm not mad at Sam Darnold. I wish good things on him. It's the Vikings management that needs to be taken to the woodshed. So,
well, the GM
they have been.
the woodshed. Yeah, they have been. So,
the fired general manager. So the fallout's just beginning. So,
yeah, Mensa, he's gone. So, I mean, he was obviously the one that either he took the fall for Kevin O'Connell or he was the one that orchestrated the whole J.J. McCarthy get rid of Darnold thing, and Daniel Jones. I mean, don't keep either one of them. So yeah. So Ed's a Darnold guy here, Brett. Who you got?
He's had a fantastic year. He had a great year until he didn't last year at the end of the season. May's young. Darnold was a first-round draft pick. He's went from one team to another, one of the biggest busts in history, and then all of a sudden, here we are.
5, by the way.
Yeah.
Jets, Carolina,
I'm
San
going,
Fran, Minnesota. Now,
I'm going with Darnold, but if anyone can make him go old Sam, it's Mike Vrabel in the New England defense.
Oh, don't talk about that yet. We've got that. We're just talking quarterbacks here, Brett.
I'm going with Sam freaking Darnold.
All right. Chad, May or Sam freaking Darnold?
Sam Caesar. Right now he's Caesar Sam.
Caesar Sam.
Caesar Sam.
Caesar Sam frickin' Darnold.
No, don't even put that frickin' in there.
Frickin' Darnold.
And we ain't talking about a Caesar salad either.
You hear people talking about it, they keep saying freaking, and it's not freaking, it's frickin'. It's just like you go to Kentucky frickin' chicken.
Yeah. That's disrespectful to how he's been playing. Listen, Linda. I'm telling you, if going forward, give me May. In this game, Sam Darnold has just been clutch. And, I've been predicting his implosion every single week. So he's won me over this year. He's gonna play well in this game. And May might play well, but if the last 4 weeks of his play say anything, he's not gonna play well.
So I'm going to give you some statistics. And I saw some of them today as to why I'm going to make this a sweep and go with Sam Darnold. In the last 37 games, Sam Darnold is 30-7. And if you look at May's statistics in the playoffs, if you were to put them to the season statistics, he would rank 30th or last in all major categories for quarterbacks. The one thing that they always tout about Derek May is his deep ball ability. Well, I looked into that too.
What about Drake May though?
Or Drake May. I keep saying Derek May. Drake May.
See, now you know where I got it from.
Oh my goodness! No, I got it from you. So, in September and October, Drake May's accuracy on the deep ball was phenomenal. Past October, his deep ball accuracy is league average. So what a lot of pundits were saying, well, I mean, you're playing top defenses and some of the weather wasn't great and things like that. Some of these cracks were showing earlier than just the playoffs and these good defenses. And another thing that I would tack onto that is, and because we're going to talk about it, Seattle's defense is no slouch either. So the things that have given Drake Mays the superpower or whatever have been sliding for a while. And in the playoffs, like I said, he would be a 30th to last quarterback in statistical wise and completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, yards, everything. He would be last in categories. So that's why I go with Sam Darnold here. But you do, to Chad's caveat, that just hasn't happened. You're like, we're waiting for the Sam Darnold game where it's like, oh, there he is. But it just hasn't happened. He has played phenomenal. He made some throws in that LA game.
Oh,
like you don't even see the receiver. All you see is the defender, and the receiver comes poking out behind him and catches the ball. I mean, phenomenal throws. So, I mean, Sam Darnold is definitely the selection I would go with, and obviously a sweep by the panel. So, with that being said, I'm assuming, since we all went with Sam Darnold, we did not go with Drake May. Who do we got here? The Seattle defense or the Patriot offense? Chad, I'll start with you.
Well, so Drake May goes, or Derek, or Dan, or
whatever his name
whatever
is.
name
May.
starts with the
May.
D. May.
Yeah,
DeAndre May.
Right.
So go the Patriot offense. So this defense has been clamped down brutal. It did take someone with the experience, skill, precision, and power of Matthew Stafford to negotiate his way around that defense and through it and over it. The question is, can DeAndre May do the same thing? I don't think he can. I mean, I think he's got a bright future. Diablo May, I'm speaking of. I think he's got a really good future. I think they need to get some more skill players around Diablo, so that he can be a little more free with the ball. And because their wide receiver core is not great. Their tight ends aren't great. But I think Diablo's better days are ahead of him. And I think Sam Darnold's day will be this Sunday, and Darren's days will be in the future.
Christ. Brett, Chad's done. I'm going to mute his mic if he talks anymore.
Well, we all know Donnie May is got a bright future ahead of him.
Oh, Jesus.
And but all that being said, Daryl has struggled the last few weeks. And it's kind of like, where's Waldo with Diego May here in the last few weeks? Where's he been?
Diego.
And this is a really tough matchup for New England offensively. But again, if anyone can do it, Vrabel's a good coach. Look at what he did in Tennessee for so many years with nothing other than Derrick freaking Henry, King Henry, and I saw some signs from Tennessee fans outside the stadium this year about Vrabel, and one guy basically said that he would give up his fruit basket to get Vrabel back. It was a big mistake on Tennessee's part. What is it? Vrabel's first year in New England. They've got, unfortunately, for everyone else in the AFC East, Jays, Bills, and the Dolphins, and the Jets. It's New England's division again, but this Sunday will be the day of Sam Caesar freaking King Dingling Darnold.
Ed, Seattle's defense or the Patriot offense?
Oh, it's definitely
Seattle's defense.
It's definitely the Seattle defense. But so you got this other one. Are you doing the other way?
Yep.
Next? Well, then I'm gonna hold out my comments then for that. But I think Drake May or Devin May or Diablo. Would you say Diablo?
Diego, Daryl.
I think that all the chatter on him being a potential league MVP, he's definitely threw that to the wayside here the last couple of weeks. I think the New England Patriots have been dreadful from an offensive standpoint. Now, granted, the snowing like a biatch there the second half last week, but he's played anything but MVP football. So, New England's good defense. Seattle's a good defense. Seattle's got a good offense. I think the odd man out is the Patriot offense. So I'm not going to give my prediction yet, but I think you know which way I'm leaning. That's all I'll say on this part.
It's a Seattle defense simply because of the way May has played. I mean, you look at the game prior to last week between Seattle and Rams, the Chicago and Rams game where it was freezing cold. Those quarterbacks were dealing, both of them, and Stafford just won the day. May's kind of out of excuses. Now, he could come out Sunday and look like a totally different guy, but I don't think so. I think I agree with you, Chad, to your point that he's going to be a good quarterback. He's going to be that quarterback. I just don't think it's going to be on Sunday. So I've got to lean Seattle defense for sure, actually heavily, simply because I just don't think May is going to cook them. If they can't hit a couple deep shots, the 4.5 points could get real ugly. So Seattle offense or Patriot defense? This is going to be the matchup, I think, that decides the game. I do not think the Patriots offensively can put up much more than 14 to 17 points. I'm thinking 17 points for the Patriots offense. However, if the Patriots defense can force, Sam Caesar frickin' Darnold to turn the ball over, pick six, turn the ball over, on Seattle's side of the field and maybe get 3 points out of it, that could be the game changer. That could decide the Super Bowl. This game leans completely on the Patriot defense. So on this part of it, I'm going to take the Patriots defense because they have to play. They cannot just show up and be good. They have to show up and be great. They've got to be able to stop the run. They've got to be able to turn Seattle over. They've got to be able to make extraordinary plays to give themselves a chance and give their offense a chance. So in this situation, I'm going to take the Patriots defense because they have to. They have to be great. Ed?
And I think what you're going to find is Mike Vrabel is going to try and show that Caesar Sam frickin' Darnold is breakable. I mean, we've had this season, he's thrown what? There's been a couple games he's had 3 picks, a couple games he's even had 4 picks.
Yeah, he led the league in turnovers, right?
But if you take away his interceptions from solely the Rams, I mean,
but you don't think that New England is watching film?
Oh, 100%.
Like a bitch, and they're
100%.
looking for those situations to put Sam Darnold in that he's going to.
I would only watch the Rams games.
Yeah.
I would only watch the Rams games.
So I think if they're, if the New England has any chance whatsoever, Sam's been known to take too many sacks. Sam has been known to throw some picks. But also when Sam is on, he can be nearly perfect. Last week 2 weeks ago against the Rams, he was making plays that made my jaw drop. And so I think as you talk about it being the Patriot defense, that may be the Patriot defense, but I still think it comes down to what Sam Darnold are we going to see. If we see the good Sam Darnold, Seattle's going to be world champions. If it ends up being the New York Jets, Sam Darnold, then it's New England's got a shot.
Brett?
Well, I think New England can handle Seattle's offense to a certain standpoint and still lose the game. I think New England's defense wins this matchup if they hold Seattle to 24 or under, but are they still going to win the game? I'm a defensive guy. Give me New England, and mainly because of Vrabel. I think they're going to bring a lot of pressure and a lot of blitzes, and we've all seen it. And just to what Ed just mentioned, when Sam gets frazzled, he really has a tough time in that game coming out of it. Give me a slight edge to New England's defense.
Chad?
I expect a lot of blitzes. A
lot of pressures, a lot of exotics, a lot of uncomfortable, house blitz looks at the line, get him to check out of things. Why not? Why not? Try to confuse him as much as they possibly can. Chad?
Yeah, I'm going to focus on the Seattle offense here. Besides Sam Darnold, they have Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, which we will just refer to as JSN going forward.
Right.
That guy was unbelievable. I hadn't really seen him that much this year.
Yeah.
Holy Moses Moreno. That dude got open whenever he wanted. He caught absolutely everything thrown his way. One-handed, 2 hands, behind his head, between his legs. I mean, the dude was putting on a show. He was unbelievable. The thing that's a little bit scary for them is the running game. They can't afford for Kenneth Walker to get hurt. They lost Charbonnet a couple of weeks ago, and that really hurt their depth at running back because behind Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, it gets a little sketchy. So they're really going to lean on Kenneth Walker staying healthy and being very effective in this game. That's going to be crucial. If they're going to blitz a lot, I would look for hot throws to JSN and slants, and that could be a lot of trouble. The way Seattle played last week, it was scary.
Right.
It was scary.
I agree. And
I'm so glad the Bears lost the week before, so we have to go Seattle and get humiliated and curb stomped by them. Oh my goodness.
I mean, the biggest thing is that I heard all the pundits today say, oh, they're going to take JSN out of the game. They're going to bracket him. They're going to be underneath with over-the-top coverage. They're going to make somebody else beat them. And I kept thinking to myself, wow, that's
They better.
genius. I'm sure nobody else has thought of that, and I'm sure nobody else has tried that, and nobody else has been able to accomplish it. Maybe the Patriots will. But I'm thinking to myself, that's not something new. Underneath and over-the-top coverage, we're going to bracket him. Okay. And he's still – you think the Rams didn't try to do that, didn't try to take him away? Like, he's crazy good. He's crazy good. But for the Patriots defense, they have to. They've got to do something.
I forget that there was a crucial third down in that game with the Rams, and they had to get the first down to keep the momentum.
It was like a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and he caught an out right along the sidelines, and he just reached out.
Yeah.
I was just like, first of all, it was a phenomenal throw from Caesar, which, I haven't seen DeMarcus May make a throw like that yet. And JSN, like Spider-Man, just reached out, snagged that ball out of the air, and I was just like, the Rams are screwed.
Yeah. There's no question that, that was probably, and of course, next week we'll be talking about how the Patriots pull off an unbelievable victory, being 4.5-point dogs. But I mean, I really feel like, and we talked about this all year. I mean, most of us had the Rams, like they're the best team. We thought they're the best team. Seattle was close. Seattle proved they were the best team head to head with them. I really felt like this, and we kind of called this. We figured, the NFC Championship was kind of the Super Bowl. We talked about that earlier. So
we talked about it for 6-8 weeks. Yeah.
6-8 weeks. Like, we looked at the NFC field and we're like, wow, here's the potential NFC field. That is stacked. You looked at the AFC field and you were like, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. And maybe it was because the major players, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo was kind of who we thought they were. If Josh Allen couldn't do all sorts of Superman type stuff, they were dead in the water. So tell me, what, and I kind of laid it out defensively, but what has to happen for the Patriots? What has to happen for them in this game? If we're talking next Wednesday, what can you say that we can say, boom, that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly why the Patriots win this game? Because I don't want to sit here and say, well, it's Seattle by a mile, forget about it. But Brett, what has to happen for New England to win this game?
I've been thinking about, and don't take this the wrong way, Ed. I've been thinking about Ed for days on this matchup. And we talked about this during
what was he wearing?
Oh,
I'm getting to that. we talk about a lot of times when Iowa, during the college season, when they play in Oregon, when they play a more powerful team, and how Iowa has got to win that game is muddy the waters. Shrink the time, but they've got to – New England's got to have long possessions. They've got to really muck it up and dirty it up to win this game. If this game turns into a shootout, it's going to be a one-way shootout. New England doesn't stand a chance. New England's only chance is to have – I compare this to the Giants and Buffalo Super Bowl. Scott Norwood wide right. They've got to out-physical Seattle, and they've got to keep the ball away from them. Same thing Bill Parcells and the Giants did with Hostetler to overcome Buffalo's because right now Seattle's offense looks a lot like Buffalo's did back in the day with Jim Kelly and Andre Reed and Lofton and all those guys. But if you limit their possessions and start winning at that line of scrimmage, you get the momentum. 24-20 is what I'm coming up with, but I don't know I still think Seattle pulls it out in the end with a big catch by JSN. But that's the only way New England can win. They cannot win a shootout. You cannot. It's not their game.
Anybody else? Ed, you got any? Chad, you got anything on this? How does New England win this game?
I haven't been imagining Ed in a Speedo or anything like Brett, but my
He had an Iowa Hawkeye logo on said Speedo.
And you know that Hawkeye emblem, right? You know where the Pecker's at.
Jesus God. Oh, Lord, I apologize.
So, I mean, I think the way the Patriots win this game, is they have to get to Sam early and often. They've got to rattle his cage. They got to get him off his spot. They have to get in his confidence early. That's the key. The second, I believe, he's exactly right. They've got to slow it down. They've got to use the running game. Ramondre, Henderson. They've got to run the ball. They've got to control the clock, and they've got to keep Sam off the field. They got to wear that defense down. They got to take the speed out of it. I think that's if the Patriots are going to win, that's how they're going to win. Is defense getting in Sam's face, hitting him, getting him off his spot. I know this is all cliche. They've got to get him to turn the ball over. He doesn't secure the ball real well in the pocket. I mean, he gets a lot of fumbles when he gets sacked, whether they get recovered by the defense or not. They've got to get to him, hit him, get in his head. That's been his Achilles heel his entire career, and so far, his head has been secure. So we'll see. That's my thoughts.
I think that Seattle's going to. I think they know what New England's going to try to do. I think they realize that New England's going to try and play keep away, so keep Seattle's offense off the field. I think the Seattle's defense is going to try and make New England one-dimensional, and I think knowing that New England's going to try and play keep away and keep that clock running, they're thinking, what's the best way to do that? A running game. So I think Seattle defense shuts down the run, makes New England one-dimensional, and makes Drake May beat them through the air. So he either has a good game and he can carry his team, or he can't. I think the Seattle defense is going to put the onus on Drake May to win this game.
The thing that I've, I went back and looked at his San Francisco game and the Rams game. Anybody know how many turnovers Sam Darnold has in those two games?
Got about 6, doesn't he?
No, I'm talking about in the playoffs.
Oh.
None.
0. And the Rams, to Chad's point, were able to get him off the spot a few times. That throw that he made in the end zone, again, where you see the defender and you don't see the offensive player until he makes the catch, that was on the run to his left. I just the catastrophe that would have to happen for me, whenever Brett's phone overheated on him again, the catastrophe that would have to happen for me for Seattle to lose this again would have to be, I think it falls 100% on Sam Darnold. Does he turn the ball over? Does he fumble it? Can they get to him? As Chad mentioned, I don't know. To me, if somebody were to say, if you see a blowout in the Super Bowl, which way does it go? The only way that a blowout goes in this game is Seattle's way. I do not think that the New England Patriots can blow them out. Can New England win this game? Sure. It's a Super Bowl. Lots of things can happen.
Yep.
But,
turnovers on a short field.
Yes. I think the only way, and I've thought about the numbers. I think the only way that New England wins this game is twofold, and Brett mentioned it before. Clock, they control the clock, and they turn Seattle over at least twice on Seattle's side of the field. Now, either that results in a pick six, that results in a cheapo field goal, whatever it is that takes the points and moves the points a little bit. That's what New England has to do. What's that?
If they kick field goals, that is.
Well, yeah, I get that. They may not, but I'm just saying an opportunity at a cheap three, or, maybe they're up 7-3 and Seattle turns the ball over and they get a cheap three, and now all of a sudden it's 10-3 if they take it. But I think that's the only way that New England wins. Now, on the flip side of it, if someone were to say who's the blowout, and Brett mentioned it earlier, they turn this into a track meet, and guess what? I think New England's dead. I do not think New England is going to be able to keep up with Seattle in a track meet. The Rams, in my opinion, are probably the only team in the NFL that could keep up with them, and almost did. But I think I would be saying the same thing if it was the LA Rams against the New England Patriots or the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. Now, the Rams defense is not as good, but I think the same principles apply. They'd have to turn Stafford over, which he just doesn't turn the ball over. And right now I look at quarterbacks and I say, who do I feel is the better quarterback right now? Sam Darnold is the better quarterback right now. Going forward, could be Diablo, Diego, Daryl, whatever, May. But right now it's Sam Darnold. So it's Sam Darnold's game to win or lose. And I think Sam Darnold has more riding on this game as a quarterback as well. I think this game, if Drake May is going to have the career that a lot of people believe he can, he should have other opportunities. For Sam Darnold, this means a lot to him. He's been on 5 teams. No quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl after playing for 5 teams. Sam Darnold has that opportunity. So there's some things that could get busted here. Like your 5-year coach and quarterback together, not playing for 5 teams. I mean, Sam Darnold has a real opportunity to show other teams that just because team 1 doesn't work out, team 2 doesn't work out, maybe a backup role, come to a better team like Minnesota. If that team's dumb enough to get rid of you, you go to a Seattle, boom. Sorry, Ed, it's just fact.
Ed, you got a little blood right there, Ed.
Yeah,
that off a little bit.
But I mean, I'm
They
serious.
just had to throw that jab out.
Listen, I know hindsight's always 2020. We talked about this last week. Yeah, and hindsight's always 2020. But the Cubs trading Lou Brock, the Phillies trading Ryan Sanders. There's all sorts of examples from the past of people getting rid of players and they turn into something.
Dallas like trading Herschel Walker.
I was just going to say that.
There you go. But I mean, there is a clear loser, and guys have lost their job already. I mean, this could be a complete catastrophe for Minnesota if Sam Darnold leads Seattle to a playoff or to the Super Bowl victory. I mean, so there's lots of things riding for Sam Darnold, kind of the I bet on myself type of thing. I stuck with it, the whole like cliche that goes with it. But I mean, the biggest loser of everybody could potentially be the Minnesota Vikings, because they've already well, I'm not even laughing about it because it is fact. They've already been brutalized. Their fans, like Ed and I had this conversation. There's like different camps of how people feel about it. But if he wins the Super Bowl,
fisting you, Ed. He's just fisting you.
The camp of Sam, we should have never got rid of Sam Darnold, is going to just go like this. And
oh yeah.
And they'll all be. Oh, I was saying it from jump.
Yes, correct, and they weren't. But we know how that works.
The pages, all the Viking pages out there. You should see the comments fly during the game. If Sam is tearing it up, there is going to be
Yeah, it's not going to be good. It's actually going to be entertaining for us Bears fans to jump on
It's
there.
going to be a long off season, Ed.
So,
thank God for spring football.
Yeah. With that being said, if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, let's get to the game. Number 1 seed in the NFC, Seattle Seahawks, 16-3 versus the number 2 seed in the AFC, New England Patriots, 17-3. The Patriots are a 4.5-point dog. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 5:30 p.m. on NBC. This is how I see the game going. And we've all kind of lined up how we're thinking. We've all talked about the importance of one team, the other, so on and so forth. We're going to give score. We got to give score predictions this week. We can't just say this team or that. We've got to give score predictions. So I do think that because of lack of ball control, that the Patriot defense is going to play really well in the first half. But I do see a 24-17 Seahawk victory. I just don't see Sam Darnold making that huge mistake. But for New England to win, he has to. So I see 24-17. I think Seattle covers the 4.5. And Sam frickin' Caesar Darnold is raising that trophy up and throwing out all the "I never gave up on myself" cliches, and Minnesota Viking fans are going to be puking in their mouths. So I will take Seattle in a 24-17 victory on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'll do a PSA before mine, and that is for the nation to make the top political football going forward is the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday.
Yes.
Nobody should be working. If we can't do that, then the NFL needs to move it to Saturday. I mean, if college football is going to build their brand on Saturdays and then run the national championship game on a Tuesday, screw it all.
Yeah.
But having people, people calling sick left and right. This is stupid. This is stupid. It should be a national freaking holiday. It's the biggest sport in the country. It's ridiculous. Okay, now to the game. My PSA.
Out of the game.
Well, I think for my score prediction, I think that the Patriots are going to reenact a past Super Bowl. And I think the score is going to be 46-10. And I think the Patriots are going to be the 10 spot.
Ooh.
I think this is going to be a reminiscent 1980s, 1990s Super Bowl. I've been saying it for the last week and a half. I think that this is going to be a drubbing. It's going to be a real disappointment because there's a whole generation or 2 generations of fans now who haven't sit there and sat through crappy Super Bowls that are total.
Yeah, we had quite a few, didn't we, back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah. Just
year after year after year.
Just total lame farts. Just terrible games. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Drake May's not ready. It's all too much for him at the moment. And it's not all on him. I mean, when you're leaning on old man Stephon Diggs and a bunch of also rans to try and throw the ball to, I don't necessarily think that's on you. Totally. I think it's going to be a good learning experience for them. What an impressive season. First the year this guy takes over as head coach, and he takes, Damian May here and gets him to lead him to a Super Bowl. I mean, who would have thought? You think about when Declan May got drafted. I mean, he was going to go number 1. It was, and then they all just started shitting on poor Dominic May, and he just plummeted down the draft board. It didn't make any sense at all to me. But I just think I just think Sam Darnold, JSN, Kenneth Walker, that O-line, that terrifying defense, they're all just going to be, it's all going to be too much for David May and company. And I think the Seattle's going to win it 46-10.
Brett?
And I hope Chad is not correct. I'm sticking with my earlier prediction. Now, I'm usually more wrong than I am right. I'm the first to admit that. But I do recall, I think it was week 4, week 5, and it was, of all teams to show me this, it was the Seattle Seahawks and Washington Commanders. It was, I think, a Sunday night game. And I remember messaging you guys saying, my God, Seattle looks like a Super Bowl team. And I remember ever since then, they've been my favorite to win the Super Bowl. And I think they get it done, but I'm giving Vrabel and the New England defense quite a bit of credit. I'm going to say, again, 24-20, Seattle. I think New England has the lead, and Darnold literally crushes what's left of Minneapolis and the Minnesota Vikings, throws it to JSN on 3rd and goal, few seconds left in the game, 24-20, Seattle for the Super Bowl victory. And Sam freaking Caesar Darnold will be sitting there holding a trophy like this, and Ed will be stooped over the commode throwing up.
All right, Ed.
As the confetti falls.
Wait a minute. In this, where he's over the toilet, what do you have Ed wearing while he's doing
Oh,
this?
my God. No, Ed.
The Minnesota Vikings thong that he wears.
He wears.
Yeah, it's purple with the little, yeah, never mind.
Never
You been
mind.
talking to Mama Bear? I don't know.
I don't know. He might be wearing his Battlehawk thong at this point.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what. Come the fourth quarter of the game, when that all happens, he'll be in there yelling "caw caw."
Just remember where the Peckers at.
All right, Ed. Before this gets way off the rails, give us the score. Give us why it is what it is.
I think this. If we think that Caesar Sam frickin' Darnold is going to be able to play in his first Super Bowl and not have a little bit of jitters, I think we're kidding ourselves. So I think, especially in the first half, New England's going to be effective in slowing down Seattle, making Sam frickin' Darnold make some mistakes that's going to allow New England to hang around. I think New England, when I first found out what the Super Bowl is going to be, I was just like Chad. This is going to be a blowout. Seattle's going to win it, whatever. It just seems like something always happens and it ends up being a lot closer game than you think. So I look for Seattle. I think Sam frickin' Darnold will make some mistakes, but he'll also make some good plays. I look for Seattle to have a touchdown lead for most of the second half, and then late in the fourth quarter, they will kick that 3-point field goal, which most people don't even know how many points you get for field goals anymore because they don't kick them. But I think Seattle will kick that late field goal to seal it. I got Seattle winning the game 23-13.
Wow.
So do you think that some player on the Patriots might get caught Saturday night with a hooker and a whole bunch of blow and not be able to play in the game? Think something like that could happen?
It always seems that something like that happens, doesn't it?
Or maybe some Seattle Seahawk player just gets wasted and doesn't show up. I mean,
they interviewed Troy Aikman yesterday or the day before, and he talked about the Dallas days of the Super Bowls in the 90s. And he talked about how he just, that whole Super Bowl week, he stayed in, he watched game film. He felt like he could never be too prepared for the game. But he said he knew some of the other teammates, and I think we probably know who he's talking about.
I do.
That really went out and enjoyed themselves during the week. So, yeah, there's going to be some players that you're probably going to hear about. And I wouldn't be too surprised if the old wide receiver for the Patriots that's got 15 kids probably isn't going to be the one that maybe gets in a little trouble, but we'll see.
Well, it is a clean sweep for Seattle. Marty, Big Mike, everybody on the comment line has put the Seahawks to win. So that probably means we're going to be talking about how New England pulled out an unbelievable game, shocked the world. And
do we know who KJ took?
He did not message me yet, so we'll have to find that out. I'm assuming it's Seattle, but I just, for all intents and purposes, I don't want it to be New England for one reason only.
Right.
They will anoint May as the second coming of Brady. And I got so sick. I mean, even though Brady's amazing and they were great, whatever, it's about as sick as you get with Mahomes now. Every quarterback is compared to Mahomes. If May wins this game, Brady's going to come right back into the conversation. It's like, I can't do it anymore.
But what are you wishing ill on Deacon May for? I don't understand.
I'm not. I just don't want to hear about Tom Brady for the next, if he's in the league for 15 years. We're going to hear Brady 15 years.
I think Eric's got a grudge against Diego is what it is.
Yeah, apparently. That's exactly right. I'm not going to sit here and talk about dumb stuff with you guys. We're actually going to end the show early to make up for the 10,000 minutes we've ran over throughout the season. So anything else for the good of the cause that actually matters?
Yeah, that 24-20, that's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of people on Monday morning saying, damn, I knew I should have bought that half a point. And you gamblers know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Been there, done that, got a T-shirt.
4.5 for a Super Bowl is a lot. Recently.
Yeah.
I mean, thinking back, I don't know what the spread would have been on New England and Chicago in ’85, but that's a big spread for recent. And
I mean, I hope we're all wrong. I hope Damian May comes out and plays like he's capable of playing. And they shock us. They shock me. They're not sure. They wouldn't shock you guys because you guys have it all as a close game. It would just be a shock to me because I just don't see. I mean, I just think Dawson May is going to struggle in this game. Is
that Dawson from Dawson's Creek?
Yeah. Anyway, as you can see on the bottom ticker, the big dog can't be caught. So I don't really care who wins the game. I just don't want to listen. I don't want to hear about Tom Brady.
I didn't tell you this last game's worth 20 points.
No, we're not battling out all year long just to give somebody a bridge with one game to go. That's dumb. Absolutely dumb.
Eric's old school. He don't believe in those participation trophies.
Yeah, that's exactly what it would be. Participation.
You know what he does? He doesn't believe on. He doesn't believe in pronouncing Daily May's name correctly. That's what he doesn't.
Total disrespect.
The problem is, and I think I'm the only one that can say I'm a Cubs fan on this panel. We had Derek May was a first baseman, great first baseman for us. Actually helped take us out of the 2003 season with Florida Marlins. Well, then he came to the Cubs. Great first baseman for us.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, though. DeAndre is going to show you something Sunday.
Yeah.
Did you guys think he overcooked that just a little bit?
The only reason
the shell is gonna do really good in this game.
The only reason Eric has a problem with Drake May is because he doesn't want him to win a Super Bowl before Caleb does.
No, that actually never crossed my mind because the Tom Brady thing. Listen, we've talked about this on the show. It's Mahomes this and Mahomes that. The freaking Kansas City Chiefs were 6-11 this year. Mahomes has not had a good year in 3 years. I know they won the Super Bowl, but it was kind of in spite of him. Look at the numbers. But all we hear
to do
about
with Delbert May.
Overcooked. All right, we're out of here. Anything else?
All right. Well, I'm hoping Delroy May really rises to the occasion here.
See you next week.
Hold on. We got a couple minutes yet, so we got to cover this.
No, we don't.
What is the Super Bowl food of the day that you're making special for the Super Bowl?
Ooh.
Because you just can't watch the game and have a bag of peanut M&Ms or something. You got to have.
Well, I probably won't be cooking anything. We'll have just gotten back. We're gonna go see the grandbaby this weekend, and so we'll be driving back Sunday. So I probably won't be cooking anything. So
I'm gonna be making shrimp. I'm going to make some Korean beef over rice. I'm gonna have kind of a spread. We got some people coming over. They're gonna bring some stuff. There's going to be a spread.
Did anybody see what is Digby Mays? What's his favorite kind of food? I mean, is he an Italian guy or a Mexican food guy?
See you next week, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl.
Diego loves a taco.
And that's the